Hi, it's Emma from Ride Library here. My chosen comfort read is actually by Graham Norton. You may not know that he, as well as writing really good autobiographies, has also written a couple of novels. They're both actually on the shelf here. First of all, we've got, well, his first book is called Holding, and the second one is called A Keeper. I really have enjoyed both of them, and actually, while making this little film, I've reread them both as well, and they've really delivered.
So I've chosen Graham Norton's novel Holding as my current favourite comfort read. It's a whodunit set in the present day, or approximately the present day, and set in a village. I think one of the big things that attracts me to his writing is the fact that I've known him as a comic actor in Father Ted, and then as a chat show host and broadcaster for many years. So there's a comfort that I find in the fact that I'm familiar with him as a personality. And I was very surprised to realise that he'd written any novels. I first came across one of his autobiographies. I had enjoyed his style of writing in that, so in many ways, I had an anticipation as to how his voice would translate to a narrative and a fictional narrative. So somehow this book, I guess I could relate to it. The characters in the book, they're all going through different times. There's a lot of history in there in terms of family history, and that floats my boat, I guess. But the characters mainly are just really likeable, and really there's a real humanity to the novel. And I think Graham Norton's observation of people and of the difficulties in life, his ability to communicate that, it seems somehow very plausible and realistic. There's also this sort of cosy backdrop of village life, some references to gossip, and that made me chuckle. There's a lot of wit in it, which is not surprising for someone who is a comic at the end of the day. I can understand why some people may think, you've got this big name, so it's not really fair that this person gets a chance to publish. And I'm sure there's a lot of really talented writers out there who don't get a chance to have their work out onto the market so easily. These celebrities, they can put their name to something and it's going to sell. It's going to sell. So so that I can see if people are sceptical about reading novels by people that aren't actually firstly novelists. But I would say to anyone, any doubters, I'd say perhaps just have a go. You don't know until you try. And I'm glad I was open-minded with Graham Norton, and I think he's got a lot of talent in many different ways. So I'm going to end now by reading an extract from the novel, and this is from chapter 7. Duneen slept. A ragbag of smoky clouds drifted across the half-moon sitting low in the sky. A fox trotted daintily down the main street, enjoying his freedom to strut in the open rather than cower in the clump of rhododendrons at the back of the priest's house. The streetlights bled the shadow of his tail along the pavement behind him like a dark cloak, almost as if he were keeping someone waiting. He quickened his pace as he got to the alley beside O'Driscoll's. The anticipation of browsing the bins without interruption gave his paws a slight bounce as he disappeared from view. The fox was not the only resident awake. In 4 houses, 4 women found that sleep was eluding them. Mrs. Meany tossed and turned. Normally, if she couldn't sleep, she prayed a few rounds of the rosary, but tonight she couldn't even keep her mind on that. She kept losing count of the beads and the Hail Marys until it felt disrespectful. If she couldn't sleep, she reasoned she might as well read her book. But the words refused to fall into place and become sentences that told a story. She shut the book and rubbed her hand across its shiny cover, tracing out the large embossed gold lettering. She felt so tired. Why wouldn't her mind yield to sleep? Of course, she had continued to think about the body they had uncovered up at the Burkes, But it was more than that. It was an uneasiness, a nervousness that tugged at the pit of her stomach. The past was opening up like a great dark bottomless pit, and she felt herself falling. Squeezing her eyes shut, she let out an audible whimper and pushed her book to one side, letting it hit the floor with a muffled thump. Susan Hickey knew exactly why she couldn't sleep. Excitement. She had stayed up far too late getting everything ready. On the third Friday of every month, she had a little coffee morning to raise money for the hospice in Ballytorn. Normally, she made around €50, and she got a big thank you in the announcements at Mass. Of course, that wasn't why she did it, but it was a nice gesture. She enjoyed doing something to help others less fortunate, but at the same time, it was amazing how quickly the third Friday came around every month. Tomorrow morning, however, couldn't come fast enough. She smiled to herself as she added another stack of paper napkins to the already precarious tower on the sideboard. The timing couldn't be better. Guards swarming all over the village and an actual body unearthed in Duneen. True, she had been disappointed when she found out that it wasn't a mass grave, but in a way this was almost better. A single mystery. People would be coming from all over the parish. How lucky for her that her coffee morning was happening before that Sunday's Mass. So this would be everybody's first opportunity to discuss every little detail. She wasn't a gambling woman, but having talked it over with, well, everyone she'd met in the last 48 hours, she was fairly certain the bones were the last remains of little Tommy Burke. She skipped up the stairs to bed. Whoever those bones belonged to, they hadn't buried themselves. She felt breathless as she pulled her duvet up and turned out the light. She hoped she had enough cups.